What episode is this, Darren?
It's got to be 14 or 15.
I think it's 16.
Is it 16?
I don't know.
You just said another number that he didn't say.
That's all it was. He didn't even know. He asked me a question. I had no idea.
Oh, you're sure
it's got
it's
to be 15.
Yeah,
it's about
somewhere
14,
in that
15.
range.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in there. A few weeks ago, we did the behind the scenes on Jerry, your perspective on Jerry, and we got a lot of good feedback. People seem to enjoy hearing that. Also, a couple of weeks ago, Jimmy was officially inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously a big deal right now. And a lot of what people said as part of the feedback of, hey, we really enjoyed Jerry, they said, well, what about Jimmy? What's your opinion? What's your relationship like with Jimmy? So everybody knows, I think at this point, the relationship between Jerry and Jimmy, and you had a front row seat, obviously, to that whole drama back in the 90s. You were a player. So I think today what we wanted to talk about is, number one, what's your relationship with Jimmy like? What's your perspective on what you think of him as a coach? But number two, what's your perspective on that whole drama, middle school drama?
Well, when I came into the league in '92, Jimmy, had taken over the team in 1989, and I think that was his first year. In his first year, they were 1-15. But to go back on Jimmy coached at the University of Miami, and I think that's where he made his name for who he was. And I'm pretty sure he won maybe one or two national championships there. But when you looked at those teams in Miami, they were brash, cocky, fighting all the time.
Yeah.
They'd blow you out. I mean, absolutely blow you out. I mean, those were, the days where it was the U. And I think it was Schnellenberger that was there, and then Jimmy came in, and then after that it was I can't remember who it was after that.
30 for 30 was wild.
Yeah, but just they were the dominant team in college football at that time. So he had built his reputation there. Took the same attitude to the Dallas Cowboys organization when Jerry brought him in. Fired a legend in Tom Landry, and if there was anyone that could backfill that role. I mean, look, Landry was considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach of all time. I mean, his winning percentage was similar to, it took Belichick up to a couple of years ago to surpass the winning percentage of what Tom Landry had built. So not only was Landry a great legend as a coach, but he was a great community guy too as well. I mean, there's a reason why I serve on a couple of boards, Make-A-Wish Foundation and United Way, is because Coach Landry introduced me to Make-A-Wish Foundation as well. But that's the guy he was replacing, and the only person I could think of that could do that was Jimmy, because he was so confident, he was so brash in his own way, and he just had this ability to manipulate the players and put them in the right position and push the right buttons and challenge them the right way. And he got here in his first year in Dallas and went 1-15. Team sucked. But the entire time, he never lost faith, because he knew he needed to bring in his own type of guys. So he started that process in 1989 of drafting Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin, drafted Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and then the Emmitt Smiths, and where Jimmy was really special. And I think this is, where people don't realize is back then Jerry wasn't as involved with the team itself. He was more so building the global brand of the Dallas Cowboys, bringing in different sponsors or whatnot. So he wasn't at practice. In 1992, I think I saw Jerry at one practice. Mm-hmm. You just didn't see him back there, because Jimmy ran the organization. But what Jimmy did was, not only did he draft well in the early rounds, he drafted exceptionally well in the third, fourth, fifth round, the later rounds. I mean, you got the Eric Williams and the Leon Letts and, the Godfrey Miles. So many great players came in those later rounds that were backfilling, that were special teams players that played a major role. So that's what made Jimmy special as far as a drafter. But then on the field, it was the competitive nature, man. There was no downtime at practice. Practice was, and I said it many times, you guys probably heard me say this, there were times in training camp and then early in the season where practices were harder than the damn games. Mm-hmm. And he kept you on pins and needles because every week you were fighting for your job, specifically on the defense side of the ball. You're fighting for your job. If you didn't play well, you busted in practice, it was going to cost you.
Yeah.
It was going to cost you.
So you mentioned that Jerry was still the general manager, right? So he appointed himself that after he bought the team, but did Jimmy really have control over personnel those early years?
No, it wasn't even close, man. Jerry didn't draft.
Yeah.
Jimmy was the one who handled the scouting department. It all flowed through him. And when players got cut, there wasn't a conversation that was being had.
And that's what I was going to say. Later in the year, if he wanted to cut someone, he could cut him?
He cut him at any time.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There was never like a balance of this protocol where he had to go somewhere else to make a decision. Maybe he did if it was a Troy Aikman or if it was somebody a bit. But as far as the team was concerned, I saw him cut players on the spot. And that was, to us, you knew who was in charge.
Yeah.
And he would let you know. The guy was like 5. I mean, he still is 5'7", 5'8". Tough as freaking nails. Talk so much shit all the time.
What did guys say behind the scenes about him? Well, first, what did you think about that personality?
I've only spent 2 years. Here's my deal with Jimmy. I didn't have the relationship that a Michael Irvin or Emmitt Smith had with Jimmy because I'd only been there for 2 years. So all I saw was the hard side of him.
So you didn't really like him?
I didn't know him in a way like I think. Yeah,
you hated his guts, is what you're saying.
No, I mean I respected him. I mean I had a ton of respect. I thought he was one of the best coaches I had ever been around, hands down. At that moment he was the best coach that I ever been around, and it was the fact of how he was. How he put the team together, how he established the coaching staff, how everything flowed to everything was organized. We knew what we had to do. How he would tell us. First time I ever heard, "Hey, I don't treat everybody the same." If Troy walks in this meeting late, hey, that's Troy Aikman. You walk in the meeting late, I'm cutting your ass. I mean, that's the first time I heard something like that. So not everyone's treated equal, and I thought that was awesome the way he laid things out. But man, he did the best job of probably any coach I'd ever been around of being able to manipulate really good football players. Michael Irvin, Charles Haley, Hall of Famers, Emmitt Smith, and get on and jump their asses and motivate them, and then watch the final product move away.
So what was that line with him between fear and motivation with the guys? Because it sounds like he was an artist with that.
It was fear, man.
It was all fear.
For me, it was all fear-based. I think it was more motivation to some of the guys, the other veterans.
Okay.
But for me, it was fear, and he established that early because when I came in, it was, hey, you want a job? I have no problem cutting second rounders. And he would tell you that your job is never safe. And so I was motivated by the fear of, hell, I came in a second rounder. I didn't feel safe at training camp. Like, I'm going to bust my ass. I remember one conversation he had with me. I hit somebody at practice one time. I think it was Alvin Harper. I hit him. He ran a slant route my rookie year, and I hit Harper. And it wasn't even a hard hit. I think I just ran into him. And Harper was like pissed off about it and might have said something to me.
Those receivers sensitive.
And then Jimmy grabs me to the side. He says, "Hey, see number 88?" He says, "You be as physical as hell." He's a physical dude, 88, being Michael Irvin. Yeah. Be as physical as you want to be with him. Just, hey, go at him because he's going to go at you. And he's going to talk shit in your face. And, yeah, I get it. I understand that. He says, "See number 22?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Don't hit him. Let him run through the drill. You don't even have to button up. You don't have to do anything with 22. You just let him run through the drill." I said, "Yeah." He says, "You see number 8?" And I looked at Troy and he says, "You hit him, I'm going to cut your fucking ass." Those were his exact words. And I thought, okay. So you just knew where you stood, man. You just totally knew where you stood.
That's
in
hilarious.
The organization.
He said, Irvin's good.
Yeah.
Emmett, don't touch him.
Yeah.
Troy, I'm bearing you 6 feet under.
You're within
touch
5
him.
feet of him.
Yeah. Stay away.
Get you a bus ticket.
That's good. Yeah. What's interesting is as you talk about him, you're not mentioning anything about his football knowledge. It's all about his management of people.
Because I think he was the great CEO. I thought he was a guy that treated the organization and his role as a CEO. I mean, I don't know a guy who put a coaching staff together like Jimmy. Norv Turner was his offensive coordinator. Dave Wanstead was his defensive coordinator. Butch Davis was assistant. And I'm talking, these are guys who all became head coaches in the league. Dave Campo, defensive coordinator. Brought in Mike Zimmer at one point, who ended up being a head coach as well. So many guys that were peripheral guys as assistant coaches were great leaders. So he led those guys. And there were times my rookie year when I came in, it was the first time I saw a coach, because most of the time when there's a conflict with coaches, they handle it behind, in a room. My rookie year at training camp, we had a bad practice, and he got all the coaches together, and man, he went in on them. And we had a little break after practice. We went back into the meeting room, and Dave Campo said, you guys saw that today, right? And he said, yeah. And we said, yeah.
He did it on the field.
Did it on the field.
On the field, okay.
He's like, I'm not blaming the players. This is y'all's fault that the guys aren't. And Dave Campo came in that meeting and said, hey, look, shit rolls downhill. So I'm gonna ride y'all's ass all day. I'm not getting fired. You're not getting me fired.
Did he take ownership personally of situations?
Yes. We lost games. He took ownership, like extreme ownership in that we weren't prepared. He didn't prepare us. This is not going to happen again. We let you down. Myself, the coaching staff. I heard all that early on. And, but it was weird, too, because there was a kind of like a psychology to all this as well, in the fact that I remember winning games. We beat the Minnesota Vikings one time in Minnesota, and we handled them pretty good, man. We went into the locker room, and he just went in on us. Like, went in. We just won the damn game. And then the next day, we had to run. He ran our asses. We practiced hard and all. I mean, it was brutal. And then I think it was that same year we lost to the Rams. The Rams are like the worst team in the NFL. Man, they had won like 3 games that year. And we were on that path to go to the Super Bowl. And it was like game 10 or 11. They came down to Texas Stadium, kicked our ass. They beat us, man. I don't know how they did it. It's like I was living in a nightmare, man.
It's one of those dreams. Like, it's like foggy. It's like not a real. I know those games.
Guys are running to the end zone to score touchdowns, fumble the ball, that kind of stuff. We just had one of those days. And after the game, it was, all right, you're off tomorrow. I don't want to see anybody in the locker room. It was the weirdest dynamic. We walked in that locker room thinking, oh, shit, we're going to get.
He roasted us for winning. Now what is he going to do?
No, go on. I don't want to see anybody's face.
Which, again, now you guys probably took it like, he's so mad.
This is way worse. Please yell at me.
Just yell at me. Run us. Coach, run us, please.
So you guys are winning. Everything's going great. When did you start to realize things were going downhill between him and Jerry?
I didn't see it, man. I never saw the dynamics between the two. I had heard rumors in my second year. So he got fired. We won the Super Bowl 92, 93. We went back to back. And then that's when the process that's when he ended up getting fired or left. I don't know. However, if he left or they come to terms or whatever. But I had never heard the rumors of them having any altercations or any disagreements. And again, look, I was so young in this process, I didn't know the dynamics between the two. I mean, if you ask Michael Irvin, he probably would tell you, or Troy Aikman, we saw it coming.
The Eagles definitely had tunnel vision on years 1 and 2. Like, I got to do my job. Exactly. I'm responsible for me.
And I know Jimmy, right? That's all I know is this dude. I don't know the other guy, Jerry. I know Jimmy, not Jerry. Jerry doesn't come around. So I'm not so concerned about Jerry. I'm concerned about the little dude, right? So that's
Did you call him that?
hell no, I wouldn't call him that back then. But I just that was the case then, and as we were playing, and it wasn't until that offseason, and I was in Phoenix with my family, and my buddies were calling my mom's landline back then. I was staying at my mom's house, and they're like, "Hey, are you watching the news?" And I'm like, no, what's going on? Jimmy just got fired. That's what I heard.
Why does it not surprise me that you were clueless on this whole situation?
Because, man, the season had ended. Like, you try to separate yourself from everything that goes on. Right? I wasn't here in Dallas, and it was
y'all just won the Super Bowl.
We just won the Super Bowl.
So you take pretty much rest of February off. Yeah. It's like unplugged.
Gone. And the last thing I would ever have thought was you just won the Super Bowl. How do you fire your coach? And you're ramped up to win it again next year. That was our conversation after winning the second Super Bowl in '93. That conversation the next day was, man, we're about to go
3P.
Get this other one.
3P.
Everybody's coming back. We're about to get this other one. And we were in the moment, man. Like, totally understood the history of that moment where we could have been the only team in history to go, to 3P. And Jimmy gets fired, and all hell breaks loose. And I can remember being in Phoenix and hearing about the news, and then Michael Irvin walked into the locker room. And I think they still have the video out there.
Yeah, he talked about it when he was on the show.
I'm in Phoenix watching the news, and Mike's throwing a garbage can in the locker room, cussing out all the reporters, get the hell out of here.
He blamed them, didn't he? Like for stirring it up. And so personally, because it sounds like the veteran guys who'd been with him for a long time from the start, right? It was a different level of relationship that they may have had with Jimmy. But your initial reaction, is it upset? Is it relieved? Because because I know how I would be relieved. Like, I don't know him that well. He's been grinding. I'm tired. Like, okay, maybe we get someone that's a little more player friendly.
No.
I've never won a Super Bowl either, so
no. I was just about to say that's what makes you and me.
That's right.
And me.
Yeah. I was shocked. I couldn't understand why. And I was trying to ask those questions of why or how could something that's so successful end in this way.
Yeah.
Like, you got something great going on. Also was living the moment at that time, and I think this is for selfish reasons as well, is because I felt like I was really coming into my own as a player. I started to really understand the system, know what the demands were, what Jimmy expected of me, because Jimmy started to have these conversations. Like, I could feel that second year, like I was becoming kind of his guy.
Yeah.
And he would say certain things to me like, hey, like I wouldn't get the game ball. I thought I played damn well in a game, get an interception or cause fumble, do this. And he said, hey, I expect that of you. You ain't getting the ball. Like, I started to become a relationship. He started to have these little small one-off talks. Yeah. So, and I knew the tempo of practice and with the games and the expectations. So I didn't want to start that all over again.
Yeah.
Man. I wanted to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I thought we had a chance then to absolutely three-peat because I felt like we were the best team in the NFL. And we were unstoppable, man. There was an arrogance to that organization back then that we were the best thing since the Steelers in the 70s. And we could match them for who they were back in the 70s. We could dominate the 90s. And for us to go down that path of losing your head coach, man, I didn't know what the future held after that. And, who are you going to bring in to deal with all these guys?
Yeah. And you go opposite.
Totally opposite.
Barry.
Yeah.
Totally opposite. And the rest is history. 26 years now of mediocrity?
No, we ended up winning. We lost the year Jimmy left out in '94, and then we came back.
That was a good Niners team, though. So in your defense, that was a. I'm not saying they were a better team. I'm saying they were a good team.
They were a good team, man. I'll say this: they were the best team in the league that year, hands down. Because the way we played, we were so up and down, and we had so much turmoil going on within that locker room. I even went into that game thinking, you guys played well. You're in the NFC West. We're in the East.
Yeah.
We're playing all the big boys every damn week. We're going to go out and throttle your ass. Even though you guys got home field advantage and you guys look cute, we're going to throttle. And they beat the shit out. Well, it was a close game.
It was a close game.
It was 21-0 in the first half, and then we came back and fought to get back into that game.
So as we wrap up, what's your relationship with Jimmy today?
It's look, I don't know if we've ever been close. We've had conversations on the phone here and there. When I've seen him a number of times, he's always been just look. Things really loosened up with Jimmy once he left and he went to Miami. He became more of like a friend. I mean, he was really wound tight when he was a coach.
Yeah.
Here in Dallas. So I didn't really get, again, like personal side. I didn't know him on the personal side. After he separated himself and then went to Miami, then went on to Fox, he became more of, damn, he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I got to know him. He was so much more relaxed than what he was as a coach. So I got a ton of respect for him, man. He's always been a guy. He's a riverboat gambler. He truly believes in himself. Like one of the first guys, people that I've met that's a firm believer in their own, in who they are, and full of confidence. So I got a ton of respect for the man. He's deserving of the Hall of Fame. He's way deserving for the Ring of Honor. That should have been done years ago.
Yeah.
And that's all pride, man. And I'll end with this on Jimmy. Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor guy, one of the greatest coaches that I've ever been coached by and to go down in history. But, you know, when you look at that situation, and this goes for everybody, you know, pride can do you in. And I think if you ask Jimmy and Jerry Jones back then what it was that got in the way, they would say their egos.
Yeah, it's a good lesson.
Yeah.
Because what could have been?
What could have been?
If everybody just kind of submitted their ego a little bit.
Yeah. Egos got in the way, man. So, but hey, we still got 3.
That's interesting, man. I love the story about the practice about Troy. That's so funny.
Oh, man.
That's an all-timer. That's so good. Well, we appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great weekend. We will see you on Sunday.